So the next question is, mention advantages of negative feedback in amplifier circuits. With relevant equations and diagram, explain the concept of negative feedback. Okay, so you can write the definition of negative feedback first. What is meant by negative feedback? A portion of the output which is fed to the input such that it decreases the overall output. It is called as negative feedback, right? So this is in short the diagram of your negative feedback of an amplifier, where this is your gain of an amplifier and this is your gain of your feedback network, right? So you will be having the input source input V in, which is given to a sum. In this case it is subtracted because you have negative feedback, so the feedback is negative. Okay, so plus and minus, the input to the amplifier will be V in dash. You will be having the overall output. A portion of the output is fed back to the input. The gain of the feedback network is beta, and you have the output as your minus Vf. Okay, so what will be your V in dash? V in dash will be equal to V in plus V in minus Vf. So this is your equation. So this is your elaborated diagram where you have your series and shunt type, series and parallel type. Okay, so here you have your source voltage V in, this is your input, your amplifier V in dash, this is your gain AV. What will be your gain AV? Gain AV is equal to output voltage divided by input voltage, V out divided by V in dash. Okay, and portion of the output is fed back to the beta. Now for the feedback network, the input is going to be your V out, the output is equal to Vf. What will be your Vf? Vf will be equal to beta into V out, or beta will be equal to output divided by input. So what is your output? Vf, right? Vf divided by V out. From this you know that Vf is equal to beta into V out. In any way you can write. Okay, so you have to find out the equation. So equation gain is equal to, the overall gain is equal to AV by 1 plus beta into AV, where AV is your open loop gain and beta into AV is your loop gain. So now you are going to find this formula, you are going to derive this formula. So we will begin with, what is your input to the amplifier is equal to V in dash is equal to V in minus Vf. So here it is plus, here it is minus. Okay, so V in minus Vf. Now you know what is Vf, right? Can you substitute the value for Vf here? Vf is equal to beta into V naught. I have substituted here. From this, can you find out what is the value for V in? V in is equal to, bring this towards this side. So V in dash plus beta into V naught. But we know, you know that what is your V out? What is your V out? V out is equal to AV into V in dash, right? V out is equal to AV into V in dash. V out is equal to AV into V in dash. So can you substitute the value for V out? So now your overall gain is equal to V out divided by V in. V out divided by the source voltage, which is equal to V in, right? Now instead of V out, you are going to substitute the value AV into V in dash. What is your V in? Substitute this value V in. V in dash plus beta into V out. Bring this V in dash towards your denominator, and here also you substitute the value for V out. Okay, AV into V in dash. So V in dash get cancelled. Here also it get cancelled. So you'll be getting G is equal to AV divided by 1 plus beta into AV. Okay. So now if your AV is very greater in this case, what you will do, you can neglect 1. If it is very greater than 1, then 1 can be neglected. So what you will be getting, AV divided by beta into AV. So AV get cancelled, gain is equal to 1 by beta. So the gain is equal to 1 by beta. So this is your derivation of your negative feedback. Now what are the advantages of your negative feedback? So you have, you can elaborate this and write. Okay. So the main points are, it stabilizes the amplifier gain, it reduces the nonlinear distortion, increases the circuit stability, increases the input impedance and resistance, and it decreases the output impedance and resistance, reduces the noise level, improves the frequency and bandwidth. Okay, it is very important, and increases the linearity. So these are some of the important advantages which can be written for. So for 7 marks, you can elaborate it and write it. Okay.